Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Door's been open for a while, so that's about really the temperature. Well, let me show you what I'm up to today and answer a couple of questions you guys have. I think you all remember the Yard Machines tractor that a friend of mine gave me. It's a 42-inch. It's got a Tecumseh V-twin in it, and this is it. I guess it's 20 horsepower. Excuse me. Anyway, this thing came in and my friend said that he was jump starting it by putting his car jumper cables directly on the battery, turning the key, and it would start, and he was using it that way. It needed a battery, but he didn't bother putting one into it, and he was getting by. So he was doing that for a while, and then one day he hooked his battery up and he turned the key and he got nothing. And that's where he stopped. That's when he said, well, tractor's broken, I don't need it, I don't want it, time for it to go. And he dropped it off here at my house. Now, some of you asked, how did I get it started, given that, you know, I was just troubleshooting it. First thing I did is, obviously, I checked the oil. Then I made sure, you know, that I can turn it around, that it wasn't seized, and I went around a couple of times to make sure I didn't hear any banging sounds or anything like that. After that, I directly, I call it hot wiring the starter, and to do that, right, negative clamp, put it right on a ground, something like that. Positive clamp, I'm going to hook it directly to the battery. And for those of you who are saying, why isn't the engine going around, my jump pack has a little switch on it. So as soon as I do that, right, the starter will be directly powered. No starting out solenoid, no interlocks, nothing. And my jump pack's about dead, so sorry about that. But anyway, you guys could see once again it tries. So next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to figure out what was going on with the rest of this. So I have my battery charger on the battery, though it's not plugged in at the moment. So let's put my jump pack on here, and what will happen is my jump pack will start charging up. Okay, so now I have my jump pack to the battery, and what I did from there is, notice this test lead right here goes to the positive side. So what I did is I took the test lead that's hot, this test lead here, right, and this right there tickles the coil that pulls the starting relay together, which takes power from the battery and runs into the starter right through this wire. So when I do that, I go, oh good, my starting relay is alive. The next thing I did is I hooked up one side of my meter to ground, and I did that through this alligator clip. right? And I poked around on the starter and I figured out which one of these lines, when you turn it to on, and you can hear a click over here when I do that. Hear that click? And then when I turned it really on, which one of these wires was energized to power the starter. And it turns out it's this orange one, right? And I did that by just, as I was turning the switch, poking around in the back of the switch with this meter set to 12 volts. So once I finished all of that, it was easy. I just clipped that right to there and clipped this right on the starter relay, right? And now when you turn the key, all the interlocks are bypassed, and so get them both in the same shot. So here we have it. This is not the best way of doing it. And the reason why is it could be in gear when you turn the key. So when you turn the key, it'll try to go forward. The blades could be engaged when you turn the key. So when you turn the key, the blades will go around. So if you're over here, doing something like this and playing with the key, you're going to have a bit of an issue. Particularly if it starts. On the starter, not that it's good for your foot, but it probably won't do much more than a bruise, hopefully. But should the engine fire up, you got 21 horsepower against your foot. Let me give you a little hint on what's going to win, or what's not going to lose. The 21 horsepower will not lose. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to leave this wire be apparent, and I'm going to leave this wire be apparent. And I'm just going to run a wire from here underneath around and to that. So now this thing will go back to starting on a key. One other quick note, and this is important. You notice when I turn the key on, right? When you go from off to on, listen. Hear that click over here? That means that there's a relay on the carburetor that turns the gasoline on to the carburetor. They have it like that so the gasoline doesn't gravity feed or siphon out and spill. You have to put power to the bottom of the carburetor to open up that relay so that the carburetor does not run out of gas. And I specifically mention this relay for two reasons. If you permanently power the tractor, you bypass the on and off switch such that the tractor is always in the on position. That means you're always drawing power from the battery and you will kill the battery. So you need to power you need an on and off switch to power this tractor, or once again that relay stays on all the time. Eventually it'll overheat and burn out if you keep power to the battery through a floating charge or something. But so that's one thing, it'll kill your battery. The second thing, it keeps that relay open, which means if there's a problem, it'll spill gas. If your float hangs up or whatever, it'll spill gas on the ground. But on the flip side of that, if for some reason your tractor is not generating any power, or if this fuse here is blown, right, you see that fuse right there? And you have no power going to that relay, your tractor will go round and round, your tractor will spark, but your tractor will not start. If you give it a hoot of starting fluid, she'll fire right up, and once again, it'll die again. So it's kind of important that when you turn your tractor on, especially if it gives you the old, doesn't start, or runs for a minute and stops, like it runs out of gas, or any of those type of things, you want to be sure that you're getting power to your to that contactor. Now just think for 30 seconds. Let's pretend that for whatever reason your tractor is not charging the battery, right? If you have a halfway decent battery in there and you put a charge on it and you get the tractor going, you'll start cutting the grass. But once again, that relay is pulling power from the battery all the time. If your battery is good enough for you to finish the lawn, it'll be no problem. If your battery is weak, you'll go for as long as the battery keeps that contactor, that relay, that solenoid, let's call it by the right name, the solenoid on the bottom of the carburetor open. As long as that solenoid on the bottom of the carburetor is open, you get gas. Once you close it, within a minute or 2 or 3, the bowl runs out of gas and the whole thing will stop. Then you'll get all cranky and you'll bring your battery charger over to it, or your jump pack or whatever, and you'll jump it, and wow, I got power to the battery again. The solenoid opens, I got gas to the carburetor, the thing fires up, you put your butt back on it and you start cutting grass, and the next thing you know it runs out of gas again, right? Because the solenoid closes. So this tractor, and quite honestly most tractors of the bigger horsepower, most modern tractors as a matter of fact, have that little solenoid on the bottom of the carburetor, so you cannot just run them without power. You actually have to put power to the carburetor, or solenoid closes, and you're out walking. Anyway, I hope this video helps you guys. Let me know, please comment, please hit the thumbs up if you like it, please subscribe, and once again, I really do enjoy reading your comments, so please do that. Folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.